This corner was Odell's, and it was a pharmacy, drugstore where I had my first ice cream soda.
Right here.
Yeah, right here where that blue car is parked was a grocery store. It was a Lebanese owner, and they had a deli, and by today's standard it would be considered a kind of a convenience store, but for our purposes back in the 50s, it was quite enough and big enough where you could get all your groceries. And then it kind of stopped right here at the alleyway, and there was a house here. I think it was now it was a demoed. So this was the end of the retail for this area, and then it didn't start up again until you got down there closer to Calvert, where there was a gas station, and then Webb. There would be some more retail. But the retail would extend all the way down to the Washington Boulevard. And there was not an island, or there was not a divider in the middle of the street. This was all a one-way street. After the riot, they expanded this street and changed the trajectory of it to be two-way. But if we walk down here a little, there was a dry cleaners.
Oh, really?
And we used the dry cleaners. That was the local dry cleaners. And next to the dry cleaners was a photo shop where you could get portraits and family portraits made. And then there was some other miscellaneous stores there. And then on the corner where the light is, there was the Detroit Bank and Trust, which is now Comerica.
Okay.
At that time it was called Detroit Bank and Trust. Originally, when I grew up here, this was the basketball court.
Oh, is that right?
There was a basketball court here, and then there was the water fountain is the same, and then the swings, and then there was a sandbox. I don't even know if they have sandboxes anymore, but we had a sandbox. We played in the sandbox there. Okay, and if we walk down a little farther, where we played the horseshoes. And that was a big thing back then, to play horseshoes, and some of the guys were really good at horseshoes. I remember I could hardly ever play because everybody was so much better than I was. So then at this alley, this was the end of the park. This was the end we didn't call it a park, we called it a playground. So this was the beginning of retail here. There was no park here. This was all retail. So that the printing place, they had an entrance here, and then on the back of the entrance was parking along that back alley where you could park to go into the printing place and get your printing done. And then Cunningham's took up the rest of the store, rest of the block, because Cunningham's was a big...
So this is where the Blind Pig would be, was right...
Yes.
Right here.
The second floor. There was a retail on the first floor, and the Blind Pig was above the printing shop on the second floor.
Oh, be darned.
Yeah.
So where this sign really is where it was.
Where it was, yes.
Yeah. Right.
That was actually parking for the people who had the retail on the front.
Okay.
You could go around the back. So they revised that alley and made it into this nice park with the benches and everything.
So your access, the Cunningham was right here. So the access to Cunningham's was really Rosa Parks, which is now 12th Street.
Where this sidewalk is,
right?
That was the front door. Because Cunningham's was on a triangle, if you think of it like that.
Okay.
And so many of the retail stores, the building was here. Instead of going in the side, you'd go in here.
Right.
I'm walking into Cunningham's right now.
Okay. Right. Gonna get your baseball cards.
Yes. Across the street was the greatest barbecue place that I ever saw. It was called Buddy's Barbecue, right there. And it was great. You could go in there and get a barbecue sandwich, a rack of ribs, whatever. And outside was the most fascinating thing I used to see as a kid. They had a giant barbecue rib on the sign, and it would go round and around and around. And I thought that was the most fascinating thing I ever saw. And I never went in there because there would always be a lot of adults in there.
Yeah.
But it was just fascinating.
And then Cunningham's was here, and then down this street, right behind it is really where the printing company was, and the union company. Go in the printing company from the alley. And so if there was actually a raid that would have occurred, or the raid that did occur, they would have kind of come down here and gone in here, right down here.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, the access to the second floor apartments was off the alley.
yeah,
So they could have come down here and went into the apartments. That, and also you can think of it in terms of, if you have an after hours joint, you don't want it to be visible from the street.
Exactly.
You want it to become people coming in from the back in the alley.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the reasons they had it like that.
so right here, kind of, sort of, if you visualize the parking area,
Yes.
that's sort of where it was.
Yeah. That's right. All these townhouses, which stretch about 10 blocks, maybe going toward the boulevard, that was all retail. And these houses that come down the street, of course, the retail was on Rosa Parks Boulevard. Mm-hmm. So these were all homes that were abandoned or burned down. As far as you can see, so they tried to replace those homes with these townhouses.
Well, was there a grocery store? I'm trying to think of that in the 60s. Was there like a, the Kroger's type of thing, or something where you'd go to get groceries?
Yes. Well, we used to go down to, and it's still, and this is one of the things that's still here. If you go down to Woodward and Claremont, there's the, I think it's called King Cole's.
Yep.
That has been there as long as I can remember, and it's still operating.
As King Cole's?
As King Cole's, and it was always called King Cole's. So we used to go there. There was another big, if you go down here where Claremont turns into Joy Road, after the Sacred Heart Seminary, there's a lot of vacant land. There were two. There was a Kroger's and another big shopping supermarket there, right across from each other. Yeah, and they don't exist anymore. And also, I don't know if you ever heard of A&P.
Oh, sure.
We used to go to the A&P in Highland Park. There was a big A&P in Highland Park. It doesn't exist anymore. Remember getting ice cream on the second block here? There was a place called United Dairies. And United Dairies, you could get all flavors of ice cream for 14 cents. You could get an ice cream cone for 14 cents. It was delicious.
Nice round number. I love it.
I'm trying to remember. Kresge's.
Right? Sure.
I don't remember if there was one. That you'd have to look it up. There maybe have been a Kresge's even on 12th Street.
Well,
But I just don't remember. Because Kresge's was originally a 5 and 10 cent store too. So I just can't remember if the 5 and 10 cent store was Kresge's or is just a 10 cent, 5 and 10 cent store.
well, that, of course, Detroit. That was Detroit.
Yeah. But that's about it. There were lots of bars. Of course, I never went in the bars, so I don't remember anything about them.
Well, this has been fantastic memory, walking down memory lane here with us.
Right.
Thank you for sharing all of that.
You're welcome.
And I now I never thought of it. It's right there.